HP. Listen, as you guys know, I get very bored driving, so I'm making a video. And it's not a video for school. It could be. But I wanted to talk today about some of the troubles and problems facing people of my generation and people of the younger generation. I'm talking about millennials and the new kids in town, kids who are like 12, 13, getting ready to go to high school. One of the things I've noticed to be like literally a systemic problem in our culture and in our youth is a real sense of being lost in life and a real sense of not having a purpose. And I wanted to talk to you today about some of the things that I have recognized as a remedy for this issue, okay? Number one is goal setting. I've been talking to my kids in 7th and 8th grade about the importance of setting goals and the importance of following and trying to follow through on goals. And I think that sometimes goals and goal setting is daunting. One, because we oftentimes set goals that are so far in the future that we have no idea of how we can start to pursue them, start to actualize them. And that's like point number one is, make goals, but make goals that are short-term. Have your long-term goals, but have your short-term goals that you can act upon and follow through on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, so you can really gauge your progress. And you can feel like you are accomplishing something even when life is mundane and when the major goal is in the very distant future. Okay. Set tangible goals for yourself. Also, it's important to note that if you set goals and things change in the future, let's say you're 13 and say, okay, I want to be a professional athlete. And you get to college and you realize that you want to, rather have a career as a nurse or as a teacher. Well, that's fine. You can change your goals. But the important thing to understand about goal setting is that it doesn't necessarily matter if the goal stays the same. The importance is in the fact that you are continually moving. You're making a conscious, thoughtful effort towards something you have created. It's important to keep on moving and keep pushing through life. And that leads me to the second point I wanted to make, which is trying to act in life, conduct yourself in a way which is motivated not by response, but rather by an interest in causing something, right? And I'll explain that. So one of the things I see really affect people my age, people in their 20s, is they feel like they're caught in a spiral, a downward spiral. And the reason is because they are constantly having to react to things in life. And they feel like they don't have any control over their life, okay? They feel like, okay, I graduated college, now I'm in debt. As a result of that, as a consequence, I am obligated, I am prompted to respond. And it's not necessarily something you want to respond to, right? It's a challenge. And we face that in a lot of different ways. But what happens is you get into a cycle of reacting. And you're not acting according to your own nature, your own will, your own desires, your own intentions, and your own passions. You're just reacting to all the crazy stuff that life throws at you. You're reacting to bills, you're reacting to debt, you're reacting to challenges, you're having to react in the workplace that you're working in, that you didn't want to work in but had to because you needed money, and you're reacting to your supervisors and your colleagues, and it's not necessarily what you want to do. Here's what I think is the remedy to that, okay? Don't react to things. Don't let your life be driven by reactions. Of course, you'll have to deal with them, but the way to deal with them is not in a constant cycle of reaction, but rather in a conscious, goal-setting plan, a meaningful plan, a passionate plan for your life. If you can construct a passionate plan for your life through goal setting, you will as a consequence, address those issues that you have to face, whether it's debt, hardship, relationship issues, whatever. You will be able to address that as a consequence of having a plan, right? So you need to construct through the goal setting I mentioned before. This is my ideal self. This is who I want to be. This is what I'm striving for. And this could be a very elaborate plan of goals and of, things that are meaningful to you. And if you can keep on that track through tangible goal setting, say, okay, well, I want to work with the youth of America. I want to be a teacher. Okay, well, that's awesome. And so you can pursue that plan, and as a consequence, you can deal with your student debt. You can deal with the hardships of life. You can deal with your debt. You have to have some roughed out idea of what it is you're trying to accomplish in your life. Otherwise, you will default to the really not so great plan B, which is just reacting, constant reaction. Okay, don't like this job, but I have to do it. Don't know what kind of job I'd like to have, but I got to do this one because I have to, because I have bills to pay and debt to pay, right? You have to be very, very meaningful in your decision-making process, even as a young person, even as a teenager, like an early teenager, especially as somebody in high school. But even more so if you're in college right now, if you're graduated from high school and you don't have some kind of plan, at least something to keep you on track so you feel like you're making progress and you're moving, you will be in that cycle of just responding to things around you, responding to challenges, rather than pushing forward in a direction that you want to go, in a meaningful direction, and as a consequence of that, dealing with those things that you would normally just be in a mindless response loop. So the moral of this story is goal set, have tangible goals, have long-term, short-term, daily goals that are part of a bigger picture, a life picture, an ideal life picture, an ideal you picture. And as a consequence of that, part two, you will not be trapped in a meaningless response cycle, and your life will have meaning, and you will be able to conquer life problems that you otherwise would be destroyed by. Keep it real.